Elder Lawyer, before I start with the lesson, let me tell the brothers and sisters, I just want to give y'all some insight right now. Obviously, the World Economic Forum and what they're meeting about, something is going on in the earth, and I want to make sure those who are in Christ, those who believe this word, will take heed and prepare. Okay? They're talking about what others have been talking about in the media and all of that, the possibility for a quote-unquote cyber attack, okay? We've just went through a disease thing, and I feel that right after that, those who didn't make it through that, obviously a number of people are coming in. That's actually replacing those numbers, because it doesn't look as if, since the disease happened and people coming in, doesn't seem as if, the population of people have changed from one major city to the next. So obviously these things are moving, according to some type of program. And I believe when the lights go out, it's going to be some serious chaos with some of these strangers who have come amongst our people. All in all, make sure that it doesn't matter. If something happens, we've been talking about this for a long time. Everything that's going on is prophecy. You just cannot be caught out there with the chaos. Because obviously when an emergency comes, the people who aren't prepared, they're the ones in the street, okay, in the midst of the chaos. It's systematic, and believe they have a plan for that. So there is no reaction without the initial reaction, and that reaction usually is for the unprepared. Brothers and sisters, make sure you have extra water, extra food. Make sure you have a backup generator source for power. Make sure you have a plan with like-minded people in your area if something was to happen, okay? The lights will come back on. The same way I told brothers and sisters when all that happened, that eventually it's going to open up. When the disease happened and people thought that it would never go back to norm. And I told people, you must weather the storm. Okay? So the lights will come back on, but the whole deal is you cannot be caught up in the chaos if they go out. Years ago, we had experts and others come on our program and all of that before there was a change in YouTube and all that when it comes to being able to, say certain things as far as the guidelines that said, well, eventually the powers that be are looking to take America and move it into third world status where what? To get used to rolling electricity and all these things. Okay. So when you hear about cyber attacks and all these others, whatever the case might be, that's right, brothers and sisters, you are not to be caught out with the unprepared. Get food, get water, and a network of people who understand, okay, what's going on? Okay, do it now. We already have these initiatives within our church, within itself, and these conversations have been going on for over a decade within our church. But all in all, a lot of you, some of you don't have access to a church, but you can still prepare accordingly. Food, water, dry goods, a generator source to make sure, you have power to be able to communicate. If you have access to a satellite phone and can afford one to communicate with someone else who's on board, make sure you have that. But all in all, get through the initial storm. Eventually, things will be put back on the grid and moving. And that's when you make a move, if need be. The Bible says if you're persecuted in one city, flee into the next. But what they could be banking on is the initial shock that it comes with the power not coming on for days. That's what they're going to prepare for. And the majority of people who's living hand to mouth, week to week, are going to be the ones out in the street through that chaos, which will justify military intervention probably. So make sure, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow. But if it happens, be prepared.
What you do is your business.
Okay? And what are they doing in the rural areas, Elder Lawyer? Right?
Unrest.
check out. Now they telling us that they're not doing nothing for our people, right? In these schools and others. But let's see how the other people on the outside of the inner cities, what are they doing? This is from 3 weeks ago. Again, fair use. Educational purposes only. But what are they preparing their children for, Elder Lawyer?
In the U.S. has motivated me to be a doomsday prepper. We have a year and a half worth of food for our family of 5. Come with me, spend $1,000 prepping. In the last 10 years, I probably spent $20,000 prepping.
What is the title to this? And I wanted to show you all what they're doing. Unrest in the United States of America has me prepping for civil war. My extraordinary family. You can say what you want about Karen. All right? But Karen is not going to be caught out there. Okay? She's going to make sure she has something to say on those board meetings. Any nut jobs that talking about transitioning little babies and kids and all that, they'll send them into your areas to mess your people up. Karen isn't having it. And on top of that, when they see civil war coming, which begins with illegals coming over to actually topple the country and to break out in gang war against the citizens in the inner cities, you know what I mean? So they're going to start getting some food before the prices are too high to purchase. Say what you want about Karen.
Unrest in the U.S. has motivated me to be a doomsday prepper. We have a year and a half worth of food for our family of 5. Come with me, spend $1,000 prepping.
And you notice she has her daughter with her. This is how they teach their children, folks. This is how they teach their children. And folks, guess what? That's all of them in the rural areas outside of the city.
In the last 10 years, I probably spent $20,000 prepping.
She spent $20,000, Elder Lawyer, prepping.
I thought you were crazy. In here.
Hold up now. Her friend says, Elder Lawyer, that she's bat crap crazy.
$1,000 prepping. I thought you were crazy.
It was a sister who says, I thought you were bat crazy.
In here is where we keep our guns.
Do you think the prospect of...
She's just casual with it, Elder Lawyer. She's just casual with it. Yeah, by the way, this is where we keep our what? Our constitutional protection.
Mm-hmm.
Now you notice that when Kamala spoke to the black journalist, the sisters came out. One sister pushed back and said, well, Kamala, you talking about assault weapons when the majority of crimes are being done with handguns in Chicago. And you should see when Kamala looked at her like if she could stare through her, if she could take her out with looks. You're not supposed to ask me that question because the plan really isn't about assault weapons. When the majority of crimes are getting done through handguns, it's really to get rid of guns, is what the sister was insinuating.
Right.
But they're hiding behind this assault weapons conversation. Right? So here it is. You can call her who she want. I'm going to say Karen for the sake of conversation. The sister is saying, you're bat crap crazy. And Karen is saying, listen, I'm going to show you in my Constitutional Protection Act.
I thought you were crazy. In here is where we keep our guns.
Do you
I'm going to tell you.
think the prospect of having to prep could be scary for children?
Fair use.
All the yellows are ready. Those are the yellow sunbursts. My name is Crystal,
And I just picked some yellow sunburst tomatoes today. She's showing her children how to protect themselves, how to gather food, how to grow their own food. I picked a lot of them today. I have a whole garden, all types of stuff. Right? And folks, guess what? All you got to do is throw seeds down and it'll grow. Come back and pick up your food later. Nobody knows it's out there.
All the yellows are ready. Those are the yellow sunbursts. My name is Crystal, and I'm a doomsday prepper. My husband's name is Derek, and we've been together for 15 years. We have a 12-year-old daughter, Lila, an 11-year-old daughter.
Hey, Elder, I just seen some chickens. How do you go about your chickens? And since you've been doing chickens real quick, Elder Lloyd, because you have your own coop and all that.
Mm-hmm.
How has that benefited your home as far as having those chickens? How has that actually been an asset to really help your family? Just having chickens alone, if you can just talk about that for a moment.
Well, to be brief, obviously they produce an egg, so obviously that's a bonus in itself. That's a food source that is when you go into the grocery store, you see the eggs are through the roof. So just having that by itself is a benefit. Not to mention as well, the chickens, when they go to do their stuff, obviously that decomposes, that becomes fertilizer, which then allows you to now grow food and things of that nature. So there's a lot of benefits that come with just having those chickens. And, me personally, or for me personally, they're not too high maintenance. It's just keeping them clean, keeping them fed, keeping them watered. But, again, they are a benefit.
And how many eggs do your chickens produce weekly?
Well, there's 3 chickens. They produce an egg a day. So for 7 days, that'd be 21 eggs.
Look at that. When the last time you bought a carton of eggs?
Man, I don't know when.
Go ahead. All right, young brother. Hey, I'm just trying to let our brothers and sisters know.
Yes, sir.
To prepare for something, because what they're doing with the supermarkets, folks, the reason why Kamala is talking about regulating the supermarkets is because based on what they're doing right now, they're going to have to ration the food. If you begin to price these people out of being able to actually operate on the open market, and the government intrudes with putting certain restrictions on, I would say, those who produce food, and them actually selling their food for the going price, then what happens? They will no longer produce food for that supermarket if they're not getting a profit. So they'll just say, well, listen, if we're not making food just so people can eat. So if the government comes in, guess what? We're pulling back all of our products, and that's what they want, because then they would have to ration any food that's usually produced through government, and it'll be trash food. It'll be all the stuff we've been avoiding, and that food will be the only food left for our people to eat that cause all types of sicknesses, cancers, and all these others. So they are strategically forcing good food producers out of the market without telling you.
Right.
And if they do that, then they're going to claim, well, hold up. There's a food shortage that they created through inflation, and now trying to restrict companies from actually charging what their food is worth. And this is why, let me go back to Karen. See, other people are practical. They're practical. And guess what? They see the sign. They see the signs on the wall, folks. And all these illegals, they're just going to do a money grab, build stuff in their own country. And when all of that crap hits the fan, they're going back with all they built from your money and your foreparents' money that was in the treasury within this United States. They have a place to go back to. And that's why I wanted to show them flying back and forth free. Who's going to be stuck with nothing? No treasury, no money, no food. And I'm going to tell you, people are different when they're hungry. And that's why Karen is preparing her family.